African Safari Wildlife Park is a wild experience with over 800 exotic animals. Our drive-through safari features giraffes, zebras, deer, elk, alpacas, and even a white bison, all of which you can feed right from your vehicle. Walk on the wild side with the Zoo It All Pass and feed kangaroos, porcupines, tortoises, and rabbits. Step into our aviary adventure and hand-feed budgies for a memorable experience. Check out our live educational shows or ride a camel. Create memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio Safari Park, African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton.
Well, happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to the morning show on Main Street TV. We are so happy to have you here with us this morning. And of course, it's Monday, and that means our good friend Pete Wilson is here to do the morning news update. And of course, that is brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you're looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs, you give Nia a call, 740-418-4135, and she'll be out working hard for you like she is everybody else. Same as Pete's always out working hard for the news.
All
right, Pete?
Well, we've got a pile here to go through.
And
then we have special guests, so we want to get to them.
We do. We have some very fun friends here in the studio today, and we'll get to them in a moment. But first, news is important.
All right. Well, on Saturday night, actually, it was Sunday morning the way the clock goes because it was a little bit after midnight.
Okay.
Some bad news comes from the Oak Hill area.
Oh, no.
The Highway Patrol reports that a serious injury-related accident occurred on State Route 233. That's just southeast of Oak Hill. It was near the Sardis Road intersection, and it occurred at 12:32 a.m.
Uh-oh.
And in this particular wreck, there was a car traveling there on State Route 233, and it was by a recreational vehicle known as a side-by-side. A lot of folks know what that is. It's an RV, but it was on the highway in front of the car. The car struck the side-by-side in the rear. As a result, the driver or the operator of the side-by-side, Andrew Moore, age 21 of Oak Hill, sustained very serious injuries.
Oh, no.
They brought in the helicopter. They flew him to the Wexner OSU Medical Center in Columbus. The driver of the car, Brittany Bennett, she's 22 years old from Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Of course, she was in a car much bigger than the side-by-side. She was not hurt. There was another person who was in the side-by-side with Mr. Moore, and that was Ethan Hall, age 21 of Jackson. He was treated at the scene. No serious injuries there. Nobody in the Brittany Bennett or her passenger in the car was injured.
Okay.
That wreck right now is still under investigation by the Ohio State Highway Patrol. No charges have been filed at this time, but they're looking into that as there was serious injuries involved. RVs are not supposed to be on the road.
So that was going to be my question, Pete.
Right. No, it happens all the time.
It does, especially here in our area. You know, a lot of people have those, and they go from house to house.
Right, it may be for a very short period that they're out on the road, but
are they? They're not legal.
Technically and legal, they are not supposed to be on a public roadway. And of course, the busier that roadway is, where the traffic is thicker and faster, the more dangers there particularly are. And of course, this is in the dead of night too. Not sure how the light was that night, but obviously another issue. And once again, no charges filed yet, but another issue possibly is following a little bit too close. That often is a charge that results when somebody hits somebody in the rear, no matter what.
Or is it if the vehicle that you hit in the rear isn't supposed to be there to begin with?
Right. Well, that is
interesting dilemma, isn't it?
That is certainly an issue as well.
It was funny. Not funny, haha, but interesting. I was just having this discussion with someone the other day about the side-by-sides and the golf carts and all of the things that you see out on the roads now. Are they really supposed to be there, or are they not supposed to be there? Or if so, what do you need to do to make them be allowed to be there? Well, if that makes any sense.
There may be some vehicles that are allowed on the road that are not traditional automobiles. but certainly you have to have special licenses, special signs. You know, the tractors, for instance, are
Like
okay.
slow moving.
Are okay to be on the highway with your slow moving, but that is a legal necessity. You have to have the slow moving vehicle on there. In some cases, you know, golf carts, for instance, can be involved on some city streets. A lot of cities have ordinances on those, but those have to often have special licenses, and certainly the slow moving vehicle sign as well.
Okay.
So, you know, once again, just everybody out there, you just have to be careful.
Yep.
And when you're out there on a motorcycle or some recreational vehicle, legal or not, you know, certainly you're in more danger there if there is a wreck because of the type of vehicle you're in and the protections that you wouldn't have in a larger vehicle. So anyway, moving on, in the city of Jackson, this is so positive. Something long awaited, a paving program will be going on, and we're just not talking about road patching or one street or whatever. We're talking about 9 streets that are going to be done this summer, probably starting before the end of July. And this all traces back to the passage of the city income tax back last November. A portion of the money, half of the money under Mayor Randy Evans' plan, approved by Jackson City Council, was to go to infrastructure improvements. Right at the top of the list of those infrastructure improvements is a paving program. The income tax was passed for 5 years, and Mayor Evans says for 5 years at least there will be a paving program, and he says it will take every bit of that, if not more, to catch up on the roads that need paved. We're not talking about patching. We're not talking about putting on pothole or filling up potholes. We're talking about real paving. Now, you've seen paving done before, but a lot of times what you see on those larger projects, they're mainly state-supported projects on state highways. Because we have state highways going through our cities and villages, and the state will pay for
like Main Street or something like that.
And so the cities have to kick in a share, and they have to help with some related things like curbs and gutters and crosswalks and like that in association with that, and they pay a small share. But those big projects, the state pays for. But, you know, as far as the side streets, the residential streets, you know, those are the things that the cities and villages have to pay for themselves. And this is $600,000 project, or $600,000 was allocated. They were delighted, the city officials were, when the bid came in at $441,000. That means that they'll be able to do the 9 streets that they've designated. Plus, once they do those, they'll take the leftover money, maybe do a little bit more paving or some serious repair work where maybe a full-scale paving isn't needed, but they needed, you know, to do a lot of patching or pothole filling in the worst places. There just hasn't been designated money for this in past years because of lack of revenue to cover it. But the streets that will be done, I'm going to go over those real quick because a lot of people wonder, well, where are they going to pave? And I know that what Mayor Evans and his administration did, his staff, they looked at the very worst roads. They looked at how bad they were. They looked at how much how much travel there is on it, and they made a decision. Sure, not everybody going to be happy, but they hope to get around to all of them. But here's what's going to be done this summer. Evans Place, the main street to Water Street, that's the little street that runs by the post office, supposedly very bad. That one-way
where
street.
you drive through to put your mail in the mailbox.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to do Evans Place. They're going to do Burlington Road from Columbia Avenue to Huron Street. They're going to do Huron Street from Main Street to Vaughn. They're going to do David Avenue from State Street to South Street, Ohio Avenue from South Street to State Street, Vine Street from Jones Street to Chillicothe Street, Orange Street from David Avenue to Payne Street, Harding Avenue from Main Street to the bridge just past the Eddie Jones Park, and that section of Veterans Drive from Harding Avenue to where the bike path comes out on Veterans Drive, which is I think before you get to or just past Callahan's Hardware, perhaps. But all that should start in mid to late July, according to Mayor Evans. And once again, the first of a 5-year paving program made possible, he very clear, only because the city income tax passed.
So is that so that is a city project, not a state?
This is a city project.
So city workers do the job, or do they bid that out?
They have they've contracted that out, and the firm that won the bid, there was only 2 bids, but they were delighted that it came in less than $600,000, came in at $441,000. It's G&J Paving Incorporated of Chillicothe will be doing the work.
Okay.
All right. We turn now to the COVID-19 front, and the Jackson County Health Department, in an effort to get more people to get the vaccine,
Mm-hmm.
they are now going to do, I guess, the amount of house calls.
What?
Can you believe that?
Now that is some service.
Right. They announced this on Thursday, Jennifer, and they are now offering in-home vaccinations, and all you have to do is make an appointment.
Now you really have no excuse.
Right. And all brands of the vaccine will be available: Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson. No charge out of pocket for this service, regardless of if the recipients have health insurance or not. If you do have health insurance, the health insurance will pay for this. Those interested in receiving an in-home COVID-19 vaccination should call the health department 740-286-5094. Provide your name, address, and phone number, and then they'll get back with you with an appointment. You do need an appointment, but they will come to you. And I mean, what a turnabout from earlier when they started the vaccination. I want my vaccination.
I know, like, oh my God,
I'm not eligible yet,
Yeah.
and now, they're coming to you for the vaccination. So that's very important. Once again, that information was in our paper on Saturday and is on our website, on our Facebook, free of charge if you want to review that.
Pretty cool.
Okay, on Thursday evening, it was a great coming out party for the Republicans. They had their Lincoln Day dinner at the Family Life Center of the Christ United Methodist Church. The speaker, high-ranking state government person, that was Lieutenant Governor Jon Husted. He talked about, I was there, so I can tell you this, he talked about progress in the state. He talked about how in this area they hope to put more money into broadband and workforce development to make life better economically for as many southeastern Ohioans as possible. He underscored once again that broadband is so important to this area. There's places you don't have internet service or it's not very good internet service. Mm-hmm. And between business, economic development, quality of life, personal convenience, that is a big issue.
Huge.
If you live in areas where the internet isn't there or
isn't all that
great. You're talking about people who don't want to stay there or live there, and certainly it hinders you from a business standpoint. Awards at the Jackson County Lincoln Day dinner. We want to go over this. Bryn Stepp, who is she is the vice chairman of the executive committee. She was named the Republican of the Year in Jackson County. She's also the Southeastern Ohio Regional Liaison for Ohio Lieutenant Governor Jon Husted. She's also a front person and behind the scenes worker for the Republican Party. She has a lot to do with organizing the Lincoln Day dinners, etc. Phil Bowman, also well known in Jackson. You could call him Mr. Republican. He has been involved in Republican politics, state and local level for a long time. He was named the benefactor of the year by the party. And those were, the two major awards. All right, moving on. Had a lot of action in downtown Jackson on Saturday. You may have saw it if you were driving through town. A big auction, the first of two at Call Auto Sales. Of course, Call Auto Sales, a longtime local business here for over 100 years. Unfortunately, it closed last September. The current co-owner and president, Dan Morrow, is working very hard with a lot of help to put together all the items, most of the items they had left, auto parts, equipment, out there for an auction. But the big item was the used car building across the street, across the street next to West Banco. That was they used that as an office for the used car lot over there, a lot of parking space over there, and also they did detailing in there as well.
Right.
Well, they had a live auction, and they sold it for $146,000. The way it turned out, the minimum bid was $75,000, so I think they did pretty good. Mm-hmm. But the buyer, as it turned out, was Ricky Tong. Mm-hmm. Ricky Tong has some property in town. Landlord, has residential property, has some commercial property. He is the owner of the Eagle Nails,
right here, across the street,
right here in downtown Jackson. Yep. Of course, the question is, what's Mr. Tong going to do with the property? Well, he's not going to go into used cars, I can tell you that. He said that he bought it as an investment. If he has plans, he's not telling us that right now.
Okay.
But it's very possible, when you buy property or whatever, you're thinking, I'll make some improvements, hold on to it, market it, and then, hopefully maybe turn a profit.
Well, I can tell you that I've known Ricky for a long time now, and he doesn't not have a plan.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway,
he's a pretty smart dude.
he's got that property, and now he can do with it what he wants. And he bought that for $146,000. Call Auto Sales will have another auction, Jennifer, in the near future. They haven't named a date yet, but there's been lots of interest. People's been in there. They see the old signs. They see the memorabilia. Some people are interested in that. Souvenir hunters,
cool stuff, yeah.
people who enjoy local history, all that.
Yep.
He's going to have an auction for those items as soon as they clear out some of the items that were bought during this last auction.
Well, and I think you have two things going on at Call Auto. You have the historical aspects of the business, and then you have the practical aspect, which is pretty much what they auctioned off. You know, the lifts, the equipment that they used, you know, the tools, the parts, all of that stuff. But then after you get all that stuff out of there and unpeel all those layers, you start seeing some of that really fun stuff in there, the historical things and the old memorabilia and the things from the Opera House.
Oh yeah, upstairs. That was one of Jackson's big historical places in the late 19th century and into the start of the 20th century. Probably named performers came there to do things what they call the Grand Opera House. That was the main place for that building. After it was built in 1883, they had smaller businesses downstairs, but then later on, Dan Call Sr. bought the building in 1915, and that's where he put his auto business. And through 4 generations of the Call Mario Conroy family, it has been there. So
you know, and I put a little twisting on Dan Morrow's arm on Friday night, and I told him that we were hoping, you and I. We're hoping to get him in, perhaps, to do a little show about the Opera House and the history of the building and whatever. And he did not say no.
I think he's very accommodating.
He didn't say no.
He's very. I think he's resting after this
you're
auction.
Right.
But I think we can get him.
I think you're right. But that would be a very, very fascinating show, and it would be fun to go over, take some pictures now that it's kind of cleared out and whatever, and show some of that stuff.
Right. Most people just not aware of the history that is in that building.
Literally an opera house up above Call Auto Sales.
Right. And speaking of that building, the main building at 301 East Main Street, corner of Main and Church, it is going to be for sale. You know, they don't have big for sale signs there, but obviously they will be looking to sell that building. I'm not sure it's going to be listed or not. I know that some people have approached him already, or at least inquired about it. So, that's a major piece of downtown property that will be on the block. It won't be an auction, I don't think, but it will be for sale. All right. We want to tell you the very latest on the new Dollar General store in Jackson, down there at the corner of Bridge and Water. Progress by the day. You can see it going up there. They hope to open it up sometime before the end of the summer, maybe as early as the 1st of August. So we will keep our eyes on that. Okay, the news came from the Ohio Attorney General's office that actually affects our area, and it involves a settlement that the state has with Frontier Communications, which of course serves our area. They have phone service, but this case involved internet service. And Ohio, I'm going to read this so I don't get this wrong. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost says that a settlement agreement was reached with Frontier Communications to increase the quality of the internet coverage to underserved areas of Ohio and to stop overbilling customers for unreliable service. You know, on Facebook every now and then you see people complaining about this or that on utility services. I know some of that has been dumped at Frontier's feet before, but as a result of this settlement, the service should be better, the reliability should be better, and they're talking about the internet service. And I know that Frontier does serve internet customers in both Jackson and Vinton counties. That story was in our Saturday paper too, as well, if you want to know more about that. Okay, in just a few minutes, we're going to hear from some folks with the DM Davis Choirs.
That's right.
And I'm not going to steal their thunder, and I'm certainly not going to sing or audition for the choir. But if I could, I would. I'm just not that good.
They made us sign a waiver, didn't they, Pete?
Right. The great D.
You will not join.
the great D. Merrill Davis, who is the namesake of the choir.
Yes.
The only thing he ever did wrong was think that I was good enough to sing in the Methodist Church choir. All right. I mean, he had me in Glee Club. He should have known the difference. I'm loud, but I'm not good, all right? I mean, I think I sang once on the air, didn't I?
You did? I thought you did quite well.
Right, I was under the influence of a bubble or something.
Yeah,
there when I
something
did
like that.
But anyway, the great news is the DM Davis Choir is restarting after a long down period because of COVID. And the news is they want to recruit new members. That's why Rick Knoll and Deanna Stroth are here. And we'll hear about that in just a minute. We had an article in Saturday's paper. It's online as well. Got a picture of the choir as it was before COVID. So you can see some of the faces that I'm sure will still remain with the choir. All right, on Saturday, it was a big day in MacArthur because they had an Appreciation Day event at Wyman Park. That's the Village Park. They're trying to raise money for park improvements. Red Thompson Jr. was up there, took all kinds of pictures. We'll have that coverage later on in the week in the paper. The Farmers Market started here in Jackson on Saturday, and Julie Weber with Weber Farms, she's kind of the wheel that gets that going, not only for Weber Farms, but for other local vendors. The Farmers Market starts at 9 a.m. each Saturday. It will go through the summer and into the fall, probably sometime in October. They have it right across from the Eddie Jones Park on Harding Avenue. A lot of folks were there on Saturday for their opening day.
Yay! It's just so nice to see things like that.
I can tell you that the homegrown tomatoes pass muster. I can tell you that firsthand. It isn't just a rumor.
I need some of those.
All right. Well, they had plenty of them. All right. They were ready. There was 5 different vendors there. Lots of different things you can get. Not only just vegetables and produce, things like honey and like that, and some other agriculture. Any agriculture project grown in Jackson County, you're eligible to set up at the farmers market free of charge.
There you go.
All right. Other good news to Mokill, the Margaret Ann Pool is open again. It was down last week because they had to replace a motor. They waited patiently and maybe impatiently to get that motor from out of town, but it finally came in and they were able to reopen on Saturday. So if you're wondering and you haven't heard, the pool is open 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. every day. Blood mobiles, that's what they used to call them. Now they call them blood drives. The American Red Cross will have 2 of them in Jackson this week. On Tuesday, from 12:30 to 5:30 at the Christ United Methodist Church. They're at the Family Life Center. And then on Wednesday at Jackson Holzer Medical Center out on Burlington Road from 12:30 to 5. You can sign up ahead of time at redcrossblood.org on the Rapid Pass link, or you can show up there in person, but you might have to go through just a little bit of initiation registration process. If you do it in advance, it really helps their planning if you can do that online.
Makes sense.
To donate blood, all you need to do is bring your card or your driver's license or some other form of identification. You have to be 17 years of age or older. If you're 16, you can do it with parental consent. You must weigh at least 110 pounds and be in good general health. Donors are asked to schedule an appointment before attending if you possibly can. Also, Mayor Kim Milliken in Colton announced last week that the village offices will be closed today. All right, I'm going to get out of the way. Rick Knoll and Deanna Stroth are going to talk to you. Who knows, maybe you can even get them to sing. I know they can sing.
They can definitely sing, Pete.
They can sing very well. I've heard them before.
Very good. Thank you, Pete. All right, and don't forget Pete's Morning News Update brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. If you are looking to buy or sell, have any real estate needs, give Nia a call, 740-418-4135. All right, let's head on over to your Total Media weather forecast. Well, let's just talk. Come on over, Rick. Let's just talk about how hot it's going to be for the next, 3 days or so. It is, shall we say, going to be a little rough, although it's not 114 like it is out west. So we will take that. But partly cloudy today. If we get the rain, they are saying about a 30% chance of rain. It is going to be super duper muggy. Highs near 90 degrees today. That heat index, they're saying, with perhaps the mugginess in the air, around 95 degrees. For tonight, partly cloudy, some isolated thunderstorms overnight tonight, lows around 70. Then tomorrow on Tuesday, even hotter. Mostly sunny tomorrow on Tuesday, highs around 92 degrees. Wednesday, 87. And then, though, the good news is as we head on down toward your 4th of July weekend, looking like a little bit cooler temperatures for all those fairs, festivals, and events being held over the weekend. And there is that tiny chance of rain, but it will not rain on our parade, I promise. I won't let that happen. All right, so we do have some special guests in the house today, and of course, our good friend Rick.
Hi there.
Hi, and then our friend Deanna Stroth over there. Hi, Deanna.
Hi, Jennifer.
Yeah, welcome. So we are going to talk about some great things coming up, and let's back up about a year.
A little over a year now.
A little over a year, and let's just be honest, the world was a bit crazy, and you know, there are certain things in the world that one should probably not do to try to avoid spreading a global pandemic, and I'm guessing that singing was probably high on the
It's
list.
very high on the list. You kind of expel a lot of stuff.
Kind of air and other stuff
Right.
goes this way while you're singing, so kind of put a damper on the D. Merrill Davis choirs, didn't it?
It did. We initially made the decision to suspend operations for a time, just due to we have no age limit in our choir, so we have people as young as 14 and as old as 95, and we thought for just the safety of our members that we should suspend operations for that period, and we didn't want anybody to get sick. I probably shouldn't say this, but I believe we actually probably did lose one member, to death through COVID. I personally had COVID back in January. Spent some time in
Really?
the hospital, and it wasn't.
It's not fake, is it?
It's not fake. It wasn't fake. Actually, they told me I didn't feel that bad, but they told me I was close to death. Didn't realize that, but I was on oxygen for a couple weeks, and wasn't fun. So,
Right.
but I think we made the right decision. But now, we're tired of all this stuff. We want to get back at it, and so now we are going to bring everybody back together, and we're going to resume and come back and start enjoying life again.
And that's so good to hear. And congratulations on a little bit of normalcy. And,
Right.
and I think we're just all so ready to get back to it. But we need to do so safely. So,
Yes.
okay. So the D. Merrill Davis Choir, there are two. Am I correct?
According how you're counting, we
Okay.
actually, I tend to say we have three. We have a ladies' choir, we
Mhm.
have a men's choir. We put them all together, and we have a mixed choir.
Oh, I didn't even think of
Yeah,
that part.
And then last year, before the pandemic, we actually had started a children's choir.
Oh, okay.
And
So that could be four.
yeah, so we actually had them going for just one season. And at this time, we're not bringing them back, but we hope to in the future.
Okay. Very, very good. And all right, so let's get Deanna into the mix since she was so kind to come here and visit with us today. So Deanna, how did you turned on the news a year and a half ago and you start hearing all this stuff, and when did it dawn on you that these choirs are going to be affected by this COVID thing, and how'd you feel about that?
Well, it wasn't pleasant news for us to
Sure.
have to, stop our practicing. But I think we got one practice in March, I think, and then our senior director, he decided we better knock it off for a little while. So here we are. How many months later?
Yeah, I mean, I think at that time we were thinking, oh, it'll be a month or two and we'll be
That's
back
what we
to normal,
thought.
right?
Yes, that's what we thought. But like I said, what is it? 15 months?
Yeah, something like
Something
that.
like that. So we're raring to go now.
Those voices are all rested up.
I think we're a little rusty, actually. And I think that's why we're going to just kind of start with some old songs that we've sung in the past, just to get used to each other again, and see how our voices sound.
So have you had pretty much everyone return that was in the choir? Are people still a little bit nervous about it? What's going on with that?
I'm going to let Deanna address that because.
Well, I don't know about the men. From our meetings, I understand they're a little concerned about, they'd like to have a lot more, so guys out there or women, who have, men who you think might like to join the choir, come on. But the women, we have got everybody back except for 4. And 2 of those, I think, are for health reasons and, not their health, but people that they're taking care of.
Sure.
And one lives quite a ways away in West Virginia, actually, and she may or may not come back. But I think we've actually increased our numbers. What we had last when we stopped practice or stopped singing, I think we've increased by 4.
Oh wow!
At least 4. So we're looking at about 27 gals right now, which is probably the most we've ever had.
You know what I should have done? I never thought about this. I should have joined the choir during this whole thing and said I was part of the choir, but you would have never had to hear me sing.
Well,
I would have been the best member ever.
Rick opines that anybody can sing.
Anybody can sing.
No. I take umbrage with your thoughts there, Rick, but we love you anyway. No, okay, so I assume that all choirs, both the men and women, will be accepting new members.
Absolutely.
And how does one go about joining the choir, finding information? What do they do?
Really, all they have to do is show up. We are going to start back up July 6th.
Okay.
And the ladies will start at 6 p.m. The men will come in at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
So the ladies will practice from 6 till just shortly after 7. We'll send them home, and then the men will come in and they'll practice from 7:30 till 8:30, 8:45, somewhere there.
What day of the week is that?
That is on a Tuesday.
Tuesdays, okay.
Tuesday, July 6th, and it'll be every Tuesday afterwards at the Marquee Theater
Okay.
right here in Jackson, just a couple blocks up the street. As Deanna's already said, we've had a great response from the ladies. Most of the ladies are coming back, and we've also added some new members. I've talked to a lot of people who have expressed interest, and so we'll just see if they show up. But there's no charge. All you have to do is just show up. If you enjoy singing, enjoy fellowshipping with other ladies and gentlemen, just come out and join the group. You just have to show up. No charge. Men, we've lost quite a few of our men. So it's going to be interesting to see how many men actually return. We had a large group of men from Athens that was coming over every Tuesday. My understanding is there's been a couple of those men whose health is not going to allow them to come back. One gentleman passed away. I'm just devastated as to hear the news on that.
Oh no!
And so we've lost a lot of our men, and I do know of some new men coming in, but it's going to be interesting to see what we actually have coming in. The ladies, like I said, we have a pretty good count of what we're going to have. The men, it's kind of up in the air. I'm not really sure if we'll have 12 guys or if we'll have 30 guys. I just don't know at this point. So,
Sure.
Like I said, if you enjoy singing, please just come out, and if nothing else, just give us a try. For the first few weeks, we're just going to, like as Deanna has already said, we're going to pull out some music we've done in the past, things that we've enjoyed singing.
Just get back into the swing of things.
Get back into it. We're going
That
to
sounds fun.
go in and we'll just have kind of like a sing-along for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Once we find out who we've got coming back, how many we have, then we're going to make decisions on future concerts, and we will order music for Christmas, and we will start somewhere mid-August to late August. We'll start in our Christmas music and get ready for a Christmas concert in early December.
So do you think, and the women's choir is affectionately known as Rick's Chicks, because Rick, are you still the director?
I'm still the director.
He's still so Rick's Chicks will be, of course, practicing as well as the men's choir. Do you believe that the Christmas concert might be the first performance, or do you think there will be one before that?
I think Christmas will be the first.
It's a good goal to
official,
set, isn't
yeah.
it? Like,
Yeah, I mean, there it could be a possibility. Like at Christmas, many years we would go to Hoser, the assisted living, and we would do a concert for them.
oh, I
So,
love that.
There may be something in lines for that where we would do maybe some smaller things before but the Christmas concert will be the first major concert that we do.
That's so fun, and
Yeah.
we totally look forward to being able to go and tape these things again, and again, this is what we're here for, and to bring them to you all out there. If for some reason obviously it's best to see it in person, but there are a lot of folks that can't get out and about for
Right,
whatever reason,
right.
and that's where we come in here on Main Street TV.
You
So.
guys have been a great friend to us in the past.
Well, thanks. You guys have been great friends to us as well. It's amazing how that works, isn't
It
it?
is.
All right. So, Deanna, let's talk for the women's choir. What do you all look forward to? I know you don't speak for everybody, but I mean, this has to be exciting to get back into singing.
I think everybody is really looking forward, to getting back. I was nervous sending out emails, but everybody that has responded, I can't wait. I'll be there.
Oh, good.
So it's really, it's just feels good to know that everybody feels like we do,
Right.
and they're ready to get going again.
That's
and
so
it's
good.
not just about singing; it's the fellowship. I mean,
Yes.
when you get together, we come together with a commonality of music.
Hmm.
But then when we all come together, over just a short period of time, we find out other interests that we each have, and you'll see people that's never met before pairing up and making friendships, and
That's so cool.
it's just amazing. And then one thing I've talked to Deanna about is something I really like is I love to see the younger people interacting with the older people, and we have maybe some younger people that have been mentored by some of the older ladies in the group, and they can just have time to just talk about life. What kind of problems you're having. Our older people, they've experienced it, and they can share their experiences, and it's just such a great way to bring people together.
It is, and listen, we're none of us are that far different. We're
Right.
And if you just sit down and talk with folks, you find out that you're probably always going to have something in common
Absolutely.
with everyone. And not only can the older folks help mentor the younger ones, but the younger ones help the older ones stay young
They
too.
do.
And I think that that's so very important.
Yeah.
It really is. And so it's like this whole circle of life, and I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool thing. So,
Jennifer, if
yeah.
I could interject here.
absolutely.
I know that a lot of people are shy or feel maybe a little intimidated by coming into, a group that's already formed because they feel like, I don't know anybody.
What if I don't fit in? Or-
Yeah. And we hope we don't want anybody to feel that way because, like Rick said, we have made such good friendships, over time. And the ladies we were 6 years old in February, and so, like I said, we're growing, and we really enjoy having new people come in. So please don't feel, intimidated. Just come on in, and we're a friendly group.
Yes, you'll be welcome. That's
Absolutely.
for sure.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
after practice, we even go out to Bob Evans and have some dessert.
Hey, I like that. That sounds good. Or you could go to Michael's
Or
and
go to
have
Michael's
a
and
bubble.
have a bubble.
Not for
That's right.
breakfast. That's right. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about some of the fun things that you've done. You don't just get together and sing. I mean, you all have traveled. You got to sing at Carnegie Hall.
We've went to New York twice now.
Hello. I mean, what an honor.
It is. We have a standing invitation. Originally with Carnegie, we had the audition. We sent an audition video to them, they put it in front of their artistic directors and coordinators, and they accepted our group. With that exception, we have a lifetime exemption. So we don't have to audition anymore. All we have to do is pick up the phone and say, hey, we want to perform in this concert, and if the space is available, we can go. And, you know, we went twice now on Thanksgiving and performed in Handel's Messiah. But they do probably about 10 concerts a year, and we have a standing invitation. We could sing any of those concerts that we wanted to, as a group or as an individual. If I was going to be in New York in February and they had a concert going on, and I just wanted to sing along with them, I'd just pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm with the D.M. Davis Choirs. I want to sing in your group, and I could go sing. So it's really cool.
I mean, you have an in there, and so I mean, how many people have gotten to say that they've gotten to perform in New York and from little old Jackson, Ohio? You know, that's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so Jenna, did James say we had a couple of videos?
Yeah, we have 2.
Okay, tell us about them.
I actually don't know anything about them. I feel like James might be the better person to
Oh,
ask.
do you know
I
how
was
long
just
they
going
are?
to play them. I think they're both about 30 minutes. So
Oh,
we can
okay.
always play them after the show.
Okay, I think we'll play them after the show then, and that's totally fine.
I think Wilbur sent along some videos that talks a little bit about the history of the group and
Okay.
things that we're doing. So,
Oh.
yeah.
James heard us.
About half an hour long. So
Both, like in total?
Total.
Okay, all right.
I want to save those for the very end.
Yeah, we'll just play those at the very end, talking about the history of the choir.
And history of light music in the region.
Jackson, yeah.
That
for
is
sure.
fascinating. Okay, very good. All right, so let's talk for a minute about D. Merrill Davis and how the choirs got started. And I know we'll see this on the video, but I think it's interesting to have the discussion here. And how did you all get involved?
Oh, that's I guess it started with the men's choir. Wilbur McCormick and a group of men came together and started this choir, and they named it after the legendary musician around Jackson County, D. Merrill Davis. I wasn't in on the beginning, so I don't know all the details of how they originally established.
Gotcha.
I came in about 2 years after they was established. That's when I joined. A few years after that, there was some talk about some ladies wanting to come in and sing with their husbands and that type thing. And I approached Wilbur at that time, and I said, Wilbur, if you want to do a ladies choir, I would love to direct. I'll take it out of your hands, and I would love to direct that.
Because Rick needs some chicks.
Desperately. But at that same time, I think Deanna had approached Wilbur and said, hey, how come all the men get to do all the fun and us ladies don't have anything?
Fair
So-
question.
I don't think he thought we could pull anything together, but we surprised him.
Yeah, Wilbur's saying, we'll see how these
Yeah.
women
I
pull it
think
up,
he was
right?
a little jealous of the male voice choir, but
Yeah. So we came together for it was actually originally we was just going to do one season, one concert.
Yeah.
We had 14 ladies, I believe, and that initial concert, it just blew my mind how well the ladies performed. You know, being a brand new group, having about 3-4 months to rehearse and practice, establish themselves, and
with a surprise in there too.
with a surprise. We had our musician, our piano player. She wasn't able at the very last minute for some various reasons. She was not able to be there, so we pulled in a piano player who came in at the last minute. Never really practiced with the ladies.
Oh, no.
There was one song that we just kind of went through it one time with the piano, and it just didn't work. So I made a decision at the last minute, right before the ladies walked on stage. I said, we're going to do this number a cappella. We're going to do away with the piano.
Surprise!
And everybody's going,
So they came in, and they performed it. So it just marvelous, to the point where towards the end of the song, I could hardly direct because their tears were coming out of my eyes. I was just
Love
so
that.
amazed and impressed with the ladies. And then after that concert, we said, we can't let this stop. This is just too good. And so what turned
We're
into...
not one and done with these ladies.
No,
They're
what
gonna
was
keep
supposed
on.
to be for one season, we have now continued for over 5 years. So,
That's
6 years.
amazing.
and we're excited
6
to get
years.
back and going, do it all over again.
Now listen, in Rick's defense, and Jamie and I have this discussion on the daily, we've all lost a year of our lives. And it's God's honest truth.
Yeah.
Like last year didn't happen. It's like I don't know where it went, but it didn't happen. So like I have talked to so many people that have said that literally don't include that year in the discussion because it's like it's just we don't know what happened.
Right.
It like fell into a black hole somewhere. Never to be seen again, thank God, we hope. But no, I will say that 2020 was be done
Bust.
with you.
Yeah.
But it is funny how it just disappeared. Like, I just feel as if you just don't include that in your life.
You can't.
Like, we should be a year younger.
I'll
All of
go with
us.
that.
Like, we didn't have birthdays last year. We didn't have anything.
We just focus on the positive and
Yeah.
forget all that negative. And that whole
That's
year
right.
was a negative.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, so good. So if you want to join the choir once again, or choirs,
And there's no audition, so don't be afraid that we're going to make you stand there and audition for somebody.
fair. You're not going to have to stand
Right,
up in the on the marquee
Yeah.
stage with
Fear
everyone
not.
leering at you and sing out loud.
We just blend all the voices
Yeah.
together and
Just come on in,
we
we'll
let
hand
you
you.
make your own decisions. Hey, what part do you like to sing?
Yeah.
I'm a soprano. Okay, you're going to sit over here. I'm more comfortable singing alto. Okay, you'll sit right here, and then we just go from there.
All right, Rick. So what do you do for someone like Jen that wants to be in the choir but can't sing a lick?
We put you in the back.
I mean, you
Far
just
away
mouth
from the microphone.
words. Just learn the words, but no sound comes out.
Everybody can learn to sing. I truly believe that everybody can learn to sing, and when you get mixed in a group, you know your limitations, and you just focus on the people around you, and you just enjoy it and have a good time. I take that back. There's been a couple times where I've went to somebody and said, "Shh, let's hold it down just a little bit," but most of those times are people that can sing. And they just want to sing louder than
They're
everybody
over
else.
projecting, yeah.
So we just quiet those down a little bit to match everybody.
And they're
else.
always sopranos. It's always a soprano.
It's always
Always
as
a
loudmouth sopranos. Just saying.
As a soprano, I can say that that's true.
Typically, there's an excuse for that. Typically, the higher the voice, the more you hear it. It pierces through
Well,
all the sound.
That and you're having to get high. You're having to
Mhm.
project, like really
Yeah.
push it through, and
Exactly. Yeah.
totally understandable. So, yeah, very good. So Jenna is a good singer. You should join the
Yes,
choir.
Yes,
sure.
Jenna.
Who knew?
I would love to if I had time.
Yeah, I know,
we
right?
hear that all the time.
Between here and also her going to college, that might be a little bit on the, shall we say, rough side for her
Right.
too.
We have a lot of people like that who maybe come in for one season and then they're off to college.
Sure.
And then hopefully, 3 or 4 years from now, they come back to the area and they join us right back up. So
You know, and that's the whole thing too. It's not all or nothing.
Right.
You know, if you have a year of your life or 6 months of your life where, you're working out of town or you're doing whatever, it's not all or nothing.
right. We have a very, very close friend of mine, one of the ladies. Right now, she has a season where her mother lives in Dayton and she's in hospice.
Aw.
And she feels like, this is a time she needs to spend with her mother.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely agree with that. I know that she's going to be gone this coming season, but there's going to be a period where there'll be a time when she comes back and joins us, and she'll be welcomed with open arms.
And
we
you
have
know
a lot
that
of
music
people
will
like
be therapy for her as well.
Absolutely.
Works both ways that way too.
Right.
And you don't have to just live in Jackson
No.
or Jackson County. We have
Good
Pike
point.
County, like I said, and we had one gal from
Traveling from West Virginia.
traveling from West
Would
Virginia.
that be our
I mean,
good friend Judy?
Yes,
That's
our good friend
Yes.
Judy. I don't know whether she's going to be able to make it back this
we
season.
Love
have,
me
we have
some
Gallia
Judy.
County, we
Yeah.
have Pike County, we have Jackson County.
We're
we have
hoping to
West
get
Virginia,
Ross.
We have Athens County, Ross County. So a lot of people come into Jackson to sing. I mean, it's a hotbed for the arts.
You know, it truly is, and there's, if you don't know, you don't know how much talent there is in our little area, and you know, it's our heritage, it's our Welsh heritage. There's so many.
I forgot Soda County. I'm from Soda County.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there you go. But no, there really are a lot, and we're so fortunate to have had Wilbur and you and the gang to set up these choirs and to recruit and to actually make it happen. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to actually make it happen. And the venue, I mean, the Marquee, do you have
it's
a better
terrific.
venue than, hello, you get to practice there, really?
Right. It's amazing. And they are so kind and generous in their facility. They have truly made it a community venue. I mean, there is so much stuff that goes on there, and if you're not taking advantage of that, you're crazy. They have shows there. They've got a show coming up the first part of July that's going to be outstanding. Concerts, they just everything going on there. So please, get on their website, see what's going on, and visit.
Yep.
It's a great venue.
It absolutely is. And if you haven't been in recently, you need to stop by and say hey, if nothing else. Just
Right,
stick your head in the
right.
door. Check it out, because
Yep.
you're going to be very surprised.
It's amazing.
For sure. Did we have any questions or anything, Jenna? Anything that anybody wanted to know? Sometimes.
I don't think so. We did have somebody say that they will be joining the choir in the comments.
Very
that's
good.
good.
Woo! Love that. Absolutely love that. Well, before we let you all get out of here, is there anything else that you wanted to tell our viewers? Or
No, just if you enjoy singing, or if you enjoy just meeting people, fellowshipping with people, making new friends, maybe through this past year you've been sitting home afraid to do anything, and you've gotten lonely. Hey, this is time to come out of the shell. Get back in society, come together. We'll introduce you to each other, and I promise you, within just a matter of weeks, you will make new friends that's going to be lifetime buddies. I mean, it's going to be great. So
it will be a family.
absolutely.
Are there any restrictions on people coming in? Like, are you requiring vaccinations? Are you distancing still, or are you guys just back at it?
No, we're following the Marque's guidelines, whatever they tell us we need to
Okay.
do as far as getting back together. I know a lot of us have been vaccinated. I just finished my second shot a couple weeks ago, and boy, did I get sick on that second shot.
Oh no! It's so wild to me.
Some people it have an effect, some people doesn't.
Yeah.
I did, but we think everything's going to be very safe, and
Good.
you've got to take care of yourself.
You're responsible for you.
You're responsible for
Yeah.
you. Do the appropriate things that you feel like you need to do. If you feel like you want to come, but you want to still separate yourself, we can make that happen.
Okay.
But whatever it takes, we're gonna make it work.
Very good. I think that's fantastic. Deanna, is there anything else you would like to tell our viewers before we get out of here?
No, just that if anybody has any need for more information, we're on Facebook, the DM Davis Choirs or the DM Davis Ladies Choir, or me. I don't think Rick is on Facebook as much. He's kind of a busy guy.
It's because he has so many chicks.
But that's true.
Can't
but,
keep them all away.
But just message us, or make a comment in the in our on our pages, and we'll get back to you.
All right, that sounds
This is
fantastic.
guys, gals, teenagers.
Mhm.
Yeah, no age
Yeah,
limit.
we have high schoolers cleared to, like Rick said, and I think some of the men were in their 90s, but so however old you are welcome.
You know, you don't hear that very often. That's pretty neat stuff.
It is neat.
Yeah. And everybody coming together with one voice at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Very cool. All right. So, James, you want to tell just everybody a little bit about what they're going to see? And we'll head to those really cool videos. And I think Wilbur sent those in, McCormick?
Wilbur sent those in.
Wilbur McCormick produced these.
Okay.
One of them is about the history of the D.M. Davis Choir, and one is about like the Welsh influence on music in southeastern Ohio
Very
in general.
That is so cool.
And so there's 2 videos. They're combined about a half an hour long, and we will have both of them posted to the Total Media YouTube channel.
Okay.
So that you can watch them on demand anytime that you want.
That's really cool as well. If you're working out or you want to just watch it again, no problem. You have that access.
Yep.
Hey, we're fancy schmancy here, aren't we?
I like it.
All right. Well, you two, thank you so much for coming in, and come back and see us anytime you have something fun going on,
All right, we'll
or
do
just to say hi to.
Maybe someday we need to get a group of us come in and just do a
Sing?
number for
Yeah,
you.
that would be
Yeah.
cool.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do
Not it.
that.
We thank you so much for always being accommodating. To
Of
us.
course, it's our pleasure, and that's what we're here for. We're your community channel. Remember that. All right, let's head on over then to our videos. Big thanks to Wilbur McCormick too, Rick and Deanna for stopping by, and then for Wilbur for sending these and producing them. So we will be back here tomorrow. So same time, 9 o'clock. Don't forget. And we appreciate you all so much for watching. So let's head on over and see some fun stuff about D. Merrill Davis.
The D.M. Davis Vocal Choirs presents A Brief History of Music in Southeastern Ohio. The Dragon Sings. In 1818 and 1830, the Great Welsh Tides left Wales for a new home in America. They settled in the Ohio Valley, bringing with them their music and traditions.
Eben Jones, founder of the Globe Iron Company, established the first jubilees in the Welsh churches of Jackson and Gallia counties. In 1875, he and others established the first official Eisteddfod in Oak Hill. In 1928, in anticipation of an American National Eisteddfod being held in Jackson, the Eisteddfod building was built. It was to hold an audience of 4,000 and choirs as large as 500. The National Eisteddfod was held in Jackson in October 1930. R. Thomas, often known as Bulldog or Railroad Thomas, added the school Eisteddfod in 1924, which exists to this day. In 1930, the National Combined Public and School Eisteddfods brought 10,000 additional people to Jackson. Chorus groups in Jackson, 1935 to 2021. Shortly after World War II, about 1947, D. Merrill Davis and 16 young men from Jackson founded the Cavalcade Choristers. This chorus sang until it was disbanded in 1974. All of the original members had passed away. Only 3 men in the area remain who sang with the group. They are Fielding Massey, Wilbur McCormick, and George Chip Smalley. From 1935 to 1980, a ladies group known as Laura's Harmonettes represented the women of the Jackson area. In 1983, a group of men were called together for a one-time performance at the Oak Hill St. David's Banquet. They continued to sing for 7 years as the St. David's Chorus. D. Merrill Davis directed. In that same year, 1983, a mix of men from the Oak Hill High School faculty and old members of the Cavalcade Chorus combined to form the New Harlech Singers, under the direction of Wilbur McCormick, with Stevie Jarvis at the piano. For a short time from 2003 to 2005, a group known as the Traditions in Harmony met to sing in Jackson but never really became strong. Most of the members sang in a barbershop harmony group in Gallipolis, known as the Treble Makers. The French City Treble Makers were organized under the Barbershop Harmony Society in 1995 and sang until 2009. James McClelland and Wilbur McCormick directed. Today in Jackson and southeastern Ohio. In 2009, 4 men, Aaron Lord, Mike Adams, Paul Barrage, and Wilbur McCormick, met with the board of directors of the Marquet Theater, and suggested it be the home of a new group to be named, the D.M. Davis Male Voice Choir. The board agreed, and the men have been singing since that time. Community ladies were recruited in 2015 to sing with the men in an annual program. They enjoyed themselves so much, they are still singing. The men and ladies join together for 2 concerts each year. One in midsummer and one at Christmas time. In addition, they sing together, or separately, as requested at community events across southeastern Ohio and northern West Virginia. The Marquet Cultural Arts Center in Jackson has been the permanent home of the Davis Choirs since 2009. This is not only the rehearsal venue, but hosts their annual shows. in loving memory. Roy Moses, baritone, Ron Muffley, second tenor, Chris Bullion, second tenor, Dale Rollins, baritone, Kent White, baritone. Charles Bowman, bass, Ed Jarvis, bass, Jim Jones, second tenor, Bruce Ergood, first tenor, Daniel Hudson, second tenor. And Daniel Merrill Davis, for whom the choirs are names, and all those men and women who have gone before us, and left the legacy of fine music. In 2016, the combined Davis choruses received a standing invitation to sing the Handel's Messiah in Carnegie Hall, New York. In 2017, the chorus was honored by the Scottish clan, MacLean of Lochbuie, when the clan chief, Lorne MacLean, designated them as his personal musical representatives in the United States. In 2018, the chorus was again honored to become the first chorus in the United States to become a member of the Welsh Association of Male Choirs. The time was early January in 2009, at the McCormick home in Jackson. 4 men, all members of the French City Barbershop Chorus of Gallipolis, met to plan a new male voice choir for the Jackson area. They were Mike Adams, Paul Barrage, Aaron Lord, Wilbur McCormick, On January 12, 2009, Adams and McCormick met with the governing board of the Marquet Cultural Arts Center in Jackson, and suggested the Marquet as the home of a new all-male choir for the Jackson and southeastern Ohio area. It was approved unanimously and a new male voice choir was born. The committee of 4 met again and compiled a list of 100 men of the area who were known singers. On February 17, 38 of the 100 invited men filed through these doors to sing together for the first time. They agreed that this was a worthwhile undertaking and set each Tuesday evening as rehearsal night. Few Tuesday nights were missed until the pandemic of 2020 struck. Over the years, the number has fluctuated from the original number, but the average holds at about 28 active members. One of the first orders of business was to choose a name for the new group. Several were suggested. Jackson Singers, Apple City Singers, The Welshmen, New Cavalcade, Sons of the Cavalcade, Voices of the Marquet, were all suggested. To honor the memory of the longtime music man of Jackson, under whom many of the men had performed, And following the format used in many of the Welsh choirs, the name D.M. Davis Male Voice Choir was suggested and accepted. The new choir now had a name, and a new logo was designed. Former director of the New Harlech Singers and assistant with the French City Troublemakers, Wilbur McCormick, was accepted as the director, and remains as senior director to the present day. Now for a signature song. The Cavalcade Chorus had used All Through the Night and Brothers Sing On. The New Harlech Singers used the Battle Hymn of the Men of Harlech. Our answer came to us from across the seas. Grenville Jones, the music director of the Bath Men's Choir of Bath, England, sent us the music for As Long as I Have Music. It seemed perfect, and we have used it ever since. News of the new group became public, and on May 7, 2009, they sang in public for the first time at the Jackson National Day of Prayer, at the Christ United Methodist Church. Over the next 6 years, in small groups or as the entire choir, they sang anywhere and everywhere they were invited. An annual fundraising show, held in the Family Life Center of the Christ United Methodist Church while the auditorium of the Marquette was being completed, made the public more aware of their existence. During these same 6 years, the appearance of the group also changed. The ragtag, casual look solidified into the classic black and gold, for which we are known. First, black polo shirts with the logo. Then tuxedos with, you guessed it, black shirts and gold ties.
In the year 2015, the men of the Davis Choir invited their spouses and other ladies of the community to sing one time with them in their annual show. Several ladies responded, sang in the show, and then decided to continue on their own. Rick Knoll, a director assisting Senior Director McCormick with the men, volunteered to be the director of the ladies group, and the D.M. Davis Ladies Choir was formed. The ladies accept sing-outs on our own, as well as joining the men to 2 annual shows each year. One in midsummer, and one at Christmas. Because of our association with Rick, we have nicknamed ourselves Rick's Chicks, but can be very formal ladies, when the occasion arises.
The year 2019 was an exciting year. First, a new choir came under construction, and sang in the annual Christmas show. Still being constructed by recruiting more members, is the D.M. Davis Youth Choir, under director Dorothy Riepenhoff. When fully active, they will, like the other choirs, accept invitations on their own, as well as sing in the annual shows. Second, all the choirs were united under one organization called the D.M. Davis Vocal Choirs. Then we added and incorporated to the name, when we became a recognized 501c3 not-for-profit corporation. For the sake of history, the first officers are listed here. Wilbur McCormick, President. Paul Berridge, Vice President, Men. Deanna Stroth, Vice President, Ladies. Ralph Brown, Secretary. Mike Adams, Treasurer. Rick Knoll, Member at Large. Dorothy Riepenhoff, Member at Large. With the addition of new choirs, the logo has undergone some small transitions. The Welsh dragon was added and the lettering changed to make each unique. The first, of course, was that of the men.
The second was for the ladies.
And the latest was for that of the youth.
As of 2019, although all retain their uniqueness, all now fall under the master logo of the corporation. In direct keeping with the goal of the D.M. Davis Vocal Choirs, to ensure the continuance of community music in the Southern Ohio area for years to come, the choirs support an active program to give aspiring young people the opportunity to try their hand at directing. To accomplish this, the directors of the choir select an interested high school student to serve as student director. There have been 6 such directors during the past 12 years since the men formed in 2009. They are Kevin Diner, 2013. Zach Irwin, 2014 to 2015, Colin Russell, 2017. Marshall Evans, 2018. Zach McGowan, 2019. Connor Rosenberger, 2020. Over the past 12 years, the choirs have sung a great variety of music, from Welsh hymns to the Messiah. From barbershop to country. Patriotic, religious, and even comedy. We have sung a cappella, with piano and organ, with guitar, flute, drums, bagpipes, and yes, even a Native American flute. We try to have something for everyone who likes to sing, and something for everyone who attends our concerts. Here are a few guests who have appeared on show through the years. Over the 12 years the Davis choirs have enjoyed singing, their excellence has not gone unnoticed. When the Marquet Cultural Arts Center completed the renovation of the auditorium and held a grand opening for the public, it was the D.M. Davis Male Voice Choir that had the honor of being the first to sing on this beautiful stage.
Twice during the past years, Director Rick Knoll has led a mixed delegation from the Davis choirs to sing Handel's Messiah with the Choirs of Distinction in New York City at Carnegie Hall. In addition, we hold a standing invitation to return each year.
On the 5th of May in 2017, the following letter was received by Director McCormick. It read in part, and I quote, "To the Director and Management, D.M. Davis Choir. Dear Sirs, it gives me pleasure to confirm your appointment as the Clan MacLean of Lochbuie's official choir in the United States of America," unquote, and it was signed. With my best wishes. Yours I. Lorne MacLean of Lochbuie. 26th Chief of Clan Gil Ian of Lochbuie. Baron of Moy. In 2018, Director McCormick received a personal message from Richard Howells, inviting the men to become a member of the Welsh Association of Male Choirs. Responding to this message, the Davis men became the first choir in the USA to be a member of the association. To date, we are the only association member in the United States. In 2018, choir members, Colonel Wilbur McCormick and Colonel Deanna Stroff, were joined by Colonel Bob Irvin and Colonel George Kitchen to present Directors Rick Knoll and Ralph Brown with new colonel commissions from the Governor of Kentucky, for their support and work with music in our communities over the past many years.
The following plaque was presented to Senior Director, Wilbur McCormick, during the spring concert on March 17, 2019. It reads in part, "Seldom has an individual, in any community, been so dedicated to preserving and maintaining its historical heritage as has Wilbur L. McCormick. His loyal pursuit in this regard to the male voice choruses, which began with a rich Welsh tradition in Jackson County, is being honored this day."
Pictured here is Bill Nash, of the Caldicot Male Voice Choir of Caldicot, Wales, sporting his new D.M. Davis Choir polo shirt, and holding a plaque he has just received, making him an honorary member of the choir for life. Bill is 98 years old, and still singing. Very possibly the oldest active choir member in Wales.
The choirs would like to pause and remember 10 men who have gone to sing in the Lord's choir over the past 12 years. We miss all of them. They are Roy Moses, baritone. Ron Muffley, second tenor. Chris Bullion, second tenor. Dale Rollins, baritone. Kent White, baritone. Charles Bowman, bass. Ed Jarvis, bass. June Jones, second tenor. Bruce Good, first tenor. Daniel Hudson, second tenor. As in all organizations, the Davis Choirs has a group of what might be called key personnel. Some were present at the very beginning, and some came on board later, but all have contributed greatly to the music team. At the top of the list of key personnel is accompanist, Stephanie Stevie Jarvis. Jarvis and McCormick have worked as director and accompanist with choir groups for over 40 years. As pictured, Stevie was at the Marquee on the first night and is still with us today. She often plays for 3 hours straight on rehearsal nights. Being one of the 4 founding members, McCormick was privileged to direct on that February night when the choir was first established. McCormick brought over 30 years of directing experience with men's groups alone, in addition to mixed choir experience. McCormick remains the senior director to this day. Shortly after joining the men's choir, Rick's talent for directing became evident. At this point he began to assist McCormick in rehearsals and in the annual shows. In 2015 he agreed to take on the newly formed ladies choir, and remains their director to date.
Ralph Brown joined the choir in 2017. He first served as a barbershop harmony director, and now generally assists with the men's choir. As a talented writer, Ralph writes the scripts for our annual shows.
Joining with the ladies in 2015, Dorothy sometimes assists Stevie at the piano, when 4 hands is needed. In 2019, she agreed to help build and direct a youth choir to be associated with the Davis Choirs. Also joining with the ladies in 2015, Joyce also assists Stevie on the piano or keyboard, when needed. She also assists Rick with directing the ladies.
Having joined the choir in 2019, Connor was appointed student director as a high school junior, in 2020. His time in this position has been interrupted by the pandemic. He will remain in this position through 2021.
Every choir needs someone to serve as master of ceremonies, actor, comedian, or narrator. Although Bill is not a singing member of the choir, his attendance at shows is very much needed. Over the past several seasons, Bill has served in one or all of these capacities, helping our musical shows to be successful and entertaining to our audiences.